Hey guys, I come to you today a little more zoomed in than usual because we are going to take a close look at a couple of new makeup products that I picked up. The two products that I have to share with you today are one from Makeup Geek, and I'm sure you've seen this all over lately, but I'm so excited about it. This is the Kathleen Lights Highlighter Palette, and the packaging is so cute and pretty. That's just the sleeve that it comes in, but this is the palette itself, which is just gorgeous. And it comes with 3 shades. All right, so we're gonna play with these today and take that little sleeve right on out of there. So we're gonna play with these today. I'm gonna try to do kind of a whole face look with this for the shimmer part of my look. So right now, all that I have on is foundation, powder, I have on some bronzer, I have on my brows, and some shadow primer. The rest we're gonna go ahead and add and take a look at. So I'm gonna do cheeks with this. I'm gonna try to get a blush and highlight look out of it. And then for eyes, I have a second product that we're gonna do first impressions on today. And this is like a full spectrum of price, all cruelty-free. Makeup Geek, this palette was 40 bucks, I believe. These are really generous pans of highlight. So I think for the price, you get a lot, but $40 is not cheap. So we have that. And then we have on the very other end of the spectrum from e.l.f. one of their $2 shadow sets. So I have this quad that's called Matte for Plum, and I think I saw this particular matte set for the first time around last Christmas, and I was intrigued because the shades are really good looking basics. You have you know, just like a matte cream, you have a taupey gray shade, you have a plummy shade, and then you have a black. So I felt like that could be really versatile, but I never picked it up, and finally I was like, you know what, let's try this thing out. This thing is $2, and if it's a great matte palette, that's awesome. So we're gonna see. So I'm gonna do an eye look with these, but I'm gonna add shimmer from the Kathleen Lights palette, and we're just gonna try to complete the look that I have so far with these two products. So let's take a look at how they turn out. All right, because I'm so excited, we're gonna go in with cheeks first. I might normally do eyes, but you know, cheeks. All right, I'm gonna grab a blush brush, and I'm gonna go in with, ooh, what do I wanna do? I think I'm gonna go in with the bronzy shade, which I believe these have names. Let me see. Sunlight, Starlight, and Nightlight. I feel like Nightlight should be the darkest one, right? Because it's night, dark, but I don't know. So we're gonna go in with this one, and I'm just gonna add this kind of like a bronzer topper to like the back part of my cheeks. I'm also going to put whatever extra is on my brush across the top of my forehead for a little sheen there. I feel like it did deepen up my bronzer, so there's definitely some like pigment to this highlight. I'm going to go like right at the center of the cheeks with the rosy shade. Oh, it's going to be a highlighty day. And I was curious whether or not this could be a blush, and I can tell you right now, my first impressions are no, this can absolutely not be a blush. This is a cool pinky highlight. Look at this cheek. I'm just like freaking metallic over here. Okay, I think I want to go ahead and stop there so that I don't have crazy face today. I'm going to take the brush that I used to powder my face today, and I'm just going to sweep a little bit of the extra off, because holy pigmented, those are crazy. So I'm gonna let my bronzer be my blush today, not going back in with any more of that pinky shade, but I am gonna go ahead and take my highlighting brush, and I'm gonna grab a little bit of the lightest shade, which I believe is Sunlight, and I'm going to put that at the very tip of my nose, and on my Cupid's bow, and a little bit across the brow bone. All right, I'm feeling strong in the shimmer department. So we're gonna leave the face there in terms of color and highlight because I don't want to look too much like a disco ball, but I am pretty excited about the level of highlight going on here. Now let's go ahead and dive in for a matte eye look, and I'm gonna top the matte eye look off, I think, with some shimmer. So we'll see how those highlighter shades work as eyeshadows because I feel like they should be dual purpose. So I'm going to take this little spongy guy out of this little quad and grab a couple of brushes to use. So I've already primed my lids. I'm just going to go in with a flat shader brush and I'm going to go into the base color. And this is how it picks up on the brush. I feel like there's a decent amount of pigment on the brush. So let's see how it comes across on the eyes. I'm going to go across the brow bone and down across the lid just to set that primer and give me like a nice smooth canvas to blend on top of. I feel like I can see the shadow. I mean, we're not talking about like a dramatic color here, but it does feel like it's brightening my eye area and kind of evening things out. So in terms of pigmentation, I think this base shade in the quad is pretty good. All right. All right, I think I want to go in with the taupe shade in my crease. So I'm going to grab a fluffy crease brush. It says lid in the packaging, but I'm going to go in the crease with this. So I felt like it picked up quite a lot on my brush, like the shadows are pretty soft. And I didn't want it to be too dramatic, so I definitely tapped that brush off, and now I'm applying it in small little circles in my crease. And I feel like it's giving me a good amount of definition in the crease. I'm going to go back in and do the same on the other side. Now, this shade is definitely more gray than I was expecting. I was kind of hoping it would be a little more taupey, like just some warmness to the gray, but it's a cool gray straight up. Okay, but I feel like it definitely has defined my crease. I am going to go in with the plum shade that they call the crease shade. And I'm also going to go in the crease with that, and I'm going to come on the outer edge of the eye with it as well. I'm going to stick to the same brush. I'm going to pat it on the outer part of my eye first. This one being the only real like color in the quad, I'm very curious? No. I'm very curious to see how it's going to come across on the eyelid. Not super impressive pigmentation, I have to be honest. Like, can you even see that on camera? In the mirror here, I can see the plumminess a little bit, but not overly impressed with that. And maybe I put too much shadow down ahead of time, too much of the base shade, so there's not a lot for it to stick to, but I feel like I don't have that problem with other eyeshadows that I own, even drugstore shadows like Milani. So it does warm it up a bit. I feel like there's clearly a difference between the two eyes, but I was hoping for like a really plum look. So I'm going to do the other eye, and then I think I'm going to go in with a different brush and see what else I can get out of it. All right, so there's the plum applied to the outer edge and the crease. I want a little bit more on that outer edge, so I think I'm going to grab a small flat shader brush and I'm going to dampen it. I don't know if these shadows work with a damp brush, but we're going to find out. And we don't have a lot to lose, right, because this was a $2 shadow quad. All right, so my brush is slightly dampened. Now I'm going to go back in and pack just a little bit more on the outer edge. I'm getting a little bit more color, but you guys, this is not as plummy as I was expecting. It's almost like there's a bit of gray in the plum. which, you know, suits the color scheme going on here with this very true gray above it. I think I was just hoping for a little more warmth, a little more cranberry plum than like gray plum. But I think dampening the brush did give me some more color, so I feel like I can see that pretty well now. Now the last color, and I think the true test of quality here, is going to be the black, which is the liner shade. I'm going to go ahead and try to do my liner with this today. Normally I use like a liquid liner, and we're going to try it with this. All right, so once again, I'm going to spritz my brush just a little bit so it can really pick up and make the shade bold, and we'll see how bold we can get with this black. You guys, I am not sure about that black. It's very soft. Can you see it? Trying to build it up a bit so that it actually looks like liner on the lid. I do like using powders as liners sometimes because it's really soft and nice. You can have drama but not have it look super unnatural. It does give me some definition, but I'm not seeing like, you know, like Urban Decay blackout black shadow. And, you know, for $2, I'm not sure that I can expect that, but you can always hope, right? I'm enjoying the tiny bit of shine on the tip of my nose right now from that highlighter palette. Okay, so there is sort of a smoky line for my liner. I like it. I think the look is really nice. My shadow look is matte. It's soft, but there's still some like smokiness and definition. There's just a little bit of a lack of impact on some of those colors. I think the top two, the creamy color and the gray, have the most color impact, and then the bottom two, which you'd think would have the most because they're the deepest shades, don't really. I do get some of the plum coming through, and I definitely do have a decent smudged line of liner from the black. I just think it could be a little more intense, but I don't hate it. I think that the look is pretty nice, actually. And if you're looking for just a really affordable matte palette to give you some basics to throw on the lid, try this out. I feel like it could be pretty good, but I'm going to keep using it all week, and I will give you an update on that in my weekly Shop My Stash. Okay, let's add a little bit of shimmer to the look. So I'm going to come back into the Kathleen Lights palette. And I'm going to go in with, I think, the lightest shade, which again I believe is Sunlight. I'm going to add this to the very center of my eye. And I'm also going to add it on the inner corner. I didn't do much here or anything really with the lower lash line. I'm just going to pull some of the highlight down to the inner corner and the very front of that lower lash line. But no dark shadows or anything there. I want a very like light and lifted look. So, all right, you guys, I'm gonna throw on some mascara and some lipstick to finish off the look, and I'll come back and give you my thoughts, my overall first impression of both of these products. All right, you guys, I am back with the look all finished off. I've applied my mascara, and previously I had tightlined. I think I forgot to mention that at the beginning, but I did tightline the upper waterline or upper lash line, and I've applied lipstick to finish everything off. So I'm wearing a ColourPop satin lipstick in the Rabbit. So overall, I'm happy with the way the look turned out. I feel like the highlight isn't emphasizing any texture on my skin. I feel like it's a beautiful glow. It's extremely glowy, but I kind of knew that going into it, that I was going to be like having a very strong glow day. But I'm okay with that. I applied it more than just to the top of my cheek. I did it kind of like a bronzer topper, and even a blush, which was a little too much. Had to go back in and buff some of that out. But overall, I think that this palette is absolutely stunning. If you want one highlight option to choose from. You want something that's going to be bright and golden, something that's going to be cool and pinky, something that's going to be bronzy, then it's all right here. So this is a fantastic palette. I love to support YouTubers that I think are just fantastic, like Kathleen Lights, and I'm really going to enjoy getting use out of this. As a shadow topper, first impression, it's really fantastic as well. It gives me a good amount of shimmer on the lids, on the inner corner, so I feel like this is going to be really versatile. In terms of shadow, I would still like to play with maybe using this alone to see what kind of look I could get, to see if there's really enough difference between the three shades to see the color variation. So I am going to play with that a little bit more. In terms of the matte palette, my first impression is good. It's not great. If you were really hoping that this plum color was going to be the real standout in the quad, it's just not. It's a very smoky purple, and when you add that to gray and you add black, it kind of just looks smoky overall, which I think is actually quite lovely. But there's just not a lot of plum going on. So if you're okay with that, and I think I am actually, now that I know what to expect, this is totally worth $2 because you have 4 completely usable matte shadows. And I think the next time I play with this, I'm going to try using just the base shade and the plum shade because maybe it's the crease color as the gray to begin with that's really pulling it to a more smoky level. So I'm going to play around and find out. And again, you guys, on Friday I'm going to have my next roundup of my weekly Shop My Stash. So I'll review all of the products that are on my face for you actually. And so if you're curious what else I'm wearing in terms of foundation and everything, we'll talk about that. But I'll also have a more updated review on these 2 products. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you own these products and what you are thinking about them, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.